I just got back from a trip to the EGX Centre in East London, located beside the Royal Victoria Docks and across the river from the O2. I was there to attend EGX 2023, the UK's biggest gaming expo. In today's video, we'll be taking a tour around the EGX show floor, and highlighting some of the coolest stuff I saw while I was there. Get your passes ready, it's time to check out some video games. The main show floor was dominated by two titans of gaming, Nintendo and Sega. Nintendo's booth was entirely dedicated to Super Mario Wonder, and right from the moment the show floor opened, there were lots of people queuing up to try it out. But fortunately, there were lots of kiosks set up, so the wait times weren't too bad. In fact, I ended up going back and playing the demo 4 times over the course of the event. I've already shared my thoughts on Mario Wonder in my dedicated hands-on video from a few days ago, but in short, Wonder good. Sega, on the other hand, had gone for a different strategy, bringing a ton of games ranging from the now recently released Sonic Superstars to the upcoming Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, Persona 3 Reload, and Persona 5 Tactica. Sadly, Sega's booth was completely walled off, and they wouldn't allow any photos or videos of the games. However, I did bump into this familiar face once again. There were also several themed areas on the show floor, including the arcade zone, a nostalgic trip back to when arcades were king. It's always a rare treat to see a bunch of arcade cabinets in the same space together, and seeing people enjoy these classic games. There were lots of great cabs on display, in excellent condition, and it's always so nice to see that colourful side art and unique designs that arcade games are so famous for. There were cabs from the early 80s through to the early 90s, including a handful of Namco classics. The real highlight for me were the full Afterburner and Outrun cabinets, which, if you've never seen before, offer a very unique experience, particularly Afterburner, with the seat and cockpit tilting independently in response to your actions in-game. The next section of the show floor is the Retro Zone. Similar to the Arcade Zone, this was a love letter to the history of video games. One thing that really impressed me was the scope and variety of hardware they had on show. It wasn't just your standard selection of home consoles, there was also PCs and more obscure systems. They even had stuff like the FM Towns Marty, Bandai Pippin AppMark, a Nuon with Tempest 3000, and an X68000, which was my first time ever seeing one in person. It was also really nice seeing a rhythm game and light gun section, because these all require specific, sometimes rare hardware. That means a lot of people don't always have an opportunity to try these cool games otherwise. I also had a brief conversation with one of the organisers of the Arcade Zone, and of course, I had to ask if they had a Casio Loopy, which he did. However, he'd not put it on display, because at least at the moment, the only game he has is Puppy Love Story, which is entirely in Japanese and is very story heavy. Hopefully next time, the Loopy will get some more love. Speaking of specific hardware, there was also a section of the show floor dedicated to custom controllers. Round the back of this space was a really special game that I'd actually played once before. This is Tenyawanya Teens, a game by Katamari Damacy designer Keita Takahashi. Tenyawanya Teens is a game that's only ever been playable at gaming events and exhibitions. The most likely reason for this is the very unique controller gimmick that requires a custom fighting game style controller with 16 buttons per player. As you play, you'll unlock new actions in-game, which are bound to buttons of a certain colour, but the position of these buttons shuffle around as you progress, keeping players on their toes at all times. I first played this game all the way back in 2013 at the gaming event called Rezzed, and it was really nice to get to play it again after 10 years. That's it for my show floor tour of EGX 2023. There was so much to do and see, and the event had a really good atmosphere. I definitely recommend a visit next time for anyone in the area who enjoys video games, new or old. Bye-bye!